about the recipe today. It's a pretty crappy day out there today and we cannot go out anyway, so let's do a recipe that takes a little bit longer to make. We're gonna make some potato gnocchi. So a couple of words about the potatoes. This one are called brush potatoes. They are from just from Woolies or Coles. They are probably not the best potato to use for gnocchi. If you can, you should source Desiree potato or russet potato, which you can get from a fruit shop. I'm sure if you ask them, they'll have those kind of potato. They're called Desiree or russet. What we have done to this potato, I've washed them nicely. They had all dirt all around, soil all around, and now we're just gonna do a little holes inside like this. Just little. They don't have to go all the way through. And instead of cooking them like you would normally do, boiling them, we're gonna bake them in the oven. So I got this tray here ready with this rack, so that the heat goes all the way around. We're just gonna put the potatoes like this. This one they've been already scored from before. So we're just gonna put them in like this, and we are going to put them in the oven at about 200 degrees, which is it's quite hot, but for a home oven it's the right temperature. And we're going to leave them in there. It will take approximately 1 hour to cook. So we're just going to put them in there, and I'll show you later what to do. Alright, so the potato has now been cooking for 1 hour. Took them out of the oven and left them out for about 10 minutes just to cool down a little bit. They are nice and soft, as you can see. So now we're just going to peel them. They are not too hot, so we can actually handle them. We're just going to peel them, and we're going to put the flesh. Okay, so now I peeled all the potatoes. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to crush them with this one. If you have a ricer, it's even better. The smoother, the better. You don't want to do this job when the potatoes are too cold, because they get gluey and you won't be able to do nice gnocchi. So you want to do when the potato is still warm. We're just going to crush it like this. Make sure there's no major chunks. And alright, so our potato now are nice and smooth. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna leave them on the bench here, let them cool down a little bit more, and we're gonna add the rest of the ingredient in about 5 minutes. Alright, so now the dough is nice and still a little bit warm, but not too much. We're gonna add flour to the dough. I'm gonna write the recipe on the comments underneath, but it's every 1 kilo of potato that you have here, you're gonna add 250 grams of plain flour, 1 egg yolk, pinch of salt, and if you do have some nutmeg, which I don't have, you can add a little bit of that. Okay, so we're just gonna add the flour. Here is the egg yolk. This one is a little bit less than 1 kilo, so we're gonna put a little bit less. And salt. Nice amount of salt. And we're just gonna mix now. You don't wanna over mix it, because basically the more you mix the potato, the more chances you get that they'll become gluey. And if they become gluey, the gluey, that's not a good dough for the gnocchi. They will stick. You won't have good gnocchis. So we're just gonna stir. Just make sure everything is mixed nicely. The dough is looking pretty good. I'm just gonna keep the bench clean, and you just keep mixing like that. It's beautiful, it's looking good. So even with the potatoes that weren't the best, still the dough came out quite nice. I think the cooking in the oven, that's one nice trick to get it nice. See, it's nice and firm, it's staying together. I don't want to overwork it. And yeah, it's looking very nice. So the next step now, we have our nice dough here. We're just gonna roll our gnocchi. We cut a little by little. I just put a little bit of flour on the table. You don't want to put too much flour on the table, but you need to put definitely just enough so that it doesn't stick. And then you just get a little piece. Don't go too long because you won't be able to manage it. And you just gently roll it. Basically, you apply a very light pressure, and the potato will roll basically with your light pressure. Just like that, a little bit more flour. It's very important that you keep the edge of the knife always clean, so that's why I have another knife. If you don't want to use a knife, you can use a spatula, but I don't have a spatula here at home, so I'm using this knife. And now I'm going to show you a little trick to make a nicer shape. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put a little bit more flour, and we're going to cut basically more than one roll of dough close to each other. That way you're gonna get a nice round, more like a round shape. So like that, a little bit more flour. That's it there, and one more. And then we're gonna put them on a tray, in this tray here, and we're gonna freeze them. We're not going to eat them tonight, so if you want, you can freeze them and have them there ready to go, or you can eat them straight away if you got some sauce ready. All right, so now we're ready to cut. Clean the edges of the knife again. Little bit of flour. This is just plain flour, as I said before, and we're just going to cut it like this. You basically leave them all close to each other. That way, see, you get a nice more like regular shape. Because if you go, say, if you go one by one, what happens is you're gonna just make them more flat, and the shape is not gonna be as nice. So that's why that's your little trick there, to do them all together like that. As long as you have enough flour between the different rolls, they're not gonna stick together. Now you all know the secrets on how to make the perfect gnocchi. Get them done, and next time I'm going to show you with Danny the perfect recipe for a nice dish with the gnocchi. Enjoy!